Hey, I'm a little bummed. I just did a 15-minute video. I had more room on my phone because I erased a bunch of videos, so it went up to 15, but I forgot YouTube only gives me like 14 something minutes. And I just didn't want to edit because a lot of that video was me yawning and rubbing my eyes anyway. But it had some content. So I guess I'll just be more succinct about what I was talking about. Topic one I started was you talking to me about, I guess, my codependence on Paul, and that it didn't seem as bad in Portland, and, uh, that stuff. It's true. And I'm wondering if being medicated and living in Portland will make like a much better life as far as my functionality. Like I'll be more stable and be in a more stimulating, interesting environment. I know we're both bored to fucking death with Portland, but compared to here, man, shit. So, I was thinking, you were like, I don't think you should break up, but what would you be like without Paul? And I would be fucked up. I mean, fucked up now, but oh my god, like I used to. 91 to 95 were our core years. We were also together in 96, but it was breaking down. That was in Portland. But anyway, in New York, 91 to 95 was Paul and I's main time. This isn't really going to be about Paul, though. I was part-time living in Park Slope with my sister, weekends, holidays, summers. And that area was not as explosively yuppie as it is now, but it was heading there. And then I went on a tangent about how my mother grew up in Park Slope, and I was like pretty much Irish community and Irish American, and she her family was like okay during the Depression. She was born in 1933. They didn't sink into poverty because her father and her uncles all were pressmen for the New York Times. So they had like this assembly line job, but they were union, and so their pay was guaranteed and had benefits. So anyway, and I've seen the house you grew up in, and because we actually, Caroline and I lived in the same neighborhood, same part, just a couple of blocks away, and it was just a nice brownstone. Anyway, and then I tangented into in the 60s and 70s, there was white flight. You know about that. They had in Chicago too. White people fled to the suburbs. And in the late 60s, my parents wanted a bigger house because the family was expanding. And they were looking into moving to the suburbs. I never got the vibe that there was this white flight vibe. I don't know. You know, I didn't feel like my parents were racist. But anyway, this realtor person talked my father and his mother into checking out this town called Shirley in Long Island, which is really close to Rocky Point, and was like, oh, there's affordable homes. And so they drove out, and they're driving out with this realtor, and my father's like, where the fuck are we going? And they get there, and it's like this small little community of suburban houses, and then surrounded by potato farms, that is what used to be out here before it became suburbia. Where did all the potatoes go? I guess we get them from Idaho now. Anyway, they wound up moving it. But I just thought it was funny because this is Rocky Point is like pretty much as far out as Shirley, and poor Paul commutes. My father's like, I can't commute to the city from here. Like, no way. So, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Park Slope. Caroline and I are living in Park Slope in the early 90s. And there was this horrendous parking problem, totally compounded by an evil New York City thing called alternate side of the street parking. So Monday you can park on this side of the street, but Tuesday you can't. You have to park on the other side of the street. So I would be like, coming to visit or coming to stay, and you couldn't find a parking spot because half of the parking spots you couldn't use. And I would drive around and around and around, and further away neighborhoods, and back around and around and around. I would get filled with despair, and kind of go into another place mentally, and like park where the fuck ever, like on the wrong side of the alternate side, or in front of a church. You're not allowed to park in front of churches. And that would give me rage. Like, fuck you, churches. Like, why can't I fucking park in front of you? Especially at night. You're not going to have a funeral or whatever reason they get to have. Oh my God. So I would pick churches and park in front of them. Or fire hydrants, whatever. Or not so much fire hydrants, but bus stops. Barely fitting, kind of, sort of fitting into the bus stop, but not really. I couldn't handle it. That's a little car. We're now Encore, 1985. This tiny little car. I'd get tickets. They'd go to Purchase because that was my official address. So my sister didn't know. Tickets upon tickets upon tickets upon tickets upon tickets. And I wouldn't open them. I knew what they were. And I just wouldn't open them. And every time I got a new one, I was like, this fear, dread feeling. Then one day I went down to Brooklyn and my car got towed. And my father was still alive, and he paid them for me and never let me forget it till the day he died. Like, literally, almost. He called me the scofflaw. It was like, that's the word for it. Like, if you break the law a whole lot, but you're not really a criminal, you're a scofflaw. And he'd be like, anyway, like, that would be kind of like mocking, making fun of me. But then he would also get drunk and like burst into rage at me for that situation. So it was really bad. Of course, I mean, if I were him, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, or what is going on with you? Like, why didn't you tell me when you had this problem? Or why were you parking in such a way that you were accruing all these tickets? Why wouldn't you just take the train? Like, why, whatever. I would be probing, not just, what the fuck is wrong with you? So, maybe you shouldn't have a car. Like, you take public trans from SUNY Purchase down to Brooklyn. I mean, it would take 3 hours, but you can do it. So I guess what I'm saying is that I'm kind of dependent on Paul to deal with my shit. You called the doctor for me yesterday. I'm so grateful. But, so whatever, that's codependent, dysfunctional, I don't know. Or whatever the word is. But if I were alone, I would, for example, get those tickets. The car would get towed. And I'd be like, oh, I don't have a car anymore. That is how I would be if someone didn't bail me out. And that is how I'd be now. I was thinking, like, I probably wouldn't be quite that bad as I was then. And in some senses, I've got more of a grip on my own responsibilities, but of uncomfortable responsibilities. Like today, yesterday I called in my own lithium refill, and then I forgot to pick it up. And after I'm doing this, I'm going to get Poppy up, and we're going to go and get it. I mean, I did kind of fuck up by forgetting, but, whatever. Anyone could forget something. I always deal with my prescriptions, actually. That's not that big a deal. And I go and pick them up. But I've been feeling fuzzy-headed lately, and that might be the getting off the Wellbutrin. Like, all this shit to take, like, everything with my meds is changing. right now. Things are changing, dosages, what I'm taking, what I'm not taking, and I have been getting a little confused. Like I think my brain is kind of like doing this switch off, like, like, and I'm confused. I think I'm legitimately confused. But in the overall scheme of my life, I don't know why I'm like this. I'm like Danny Jr. because Danny's like really, really irresponsible with any kind of financial obligation. Like everything I just said about me is like him times 1,000. But we have that similarity. But I don't smoke crack, and I'm an alcoholic. But I definitely feel like a simpatico with him. I don't get as mad as others in the family do when he like royally fucks up. I'm like, there, but for the grace of God, go I. Whatever that fucking expression is. Okay, the other reason I'm doing this vlog is I'm irritated. We've talked about it. We've been talking about it with Liz and her New Zealand photo journal. So I was looking at Instagram today, and it's like, oh, beautiful picture, beautiful picture. A cute picture with a sheep or llamas or something, but she says cheesy caption like, they permitted me through the gateway or something. And then there's this picture of her like from high above, like a mountain, a cliff, a high cliff, looking down on like a inlet, ocean inlet with giant rock formations, very Oregon-like. I mean, it didn't look that different from Oregon. And she's like, this reminds me of blah de blah obscure band. It's album cover of blah de blah obscure album. And so I had to look it up, the album cover, the band. And it is sort of a similar picture, a from above picture of the water below. No giant rock formations in this album cover. Different kind of tints to it. Like, I mean, it is similar, I guess. But it seemed like a bit of a stretch to be like, oh, this reminds me of this band that nobody's ever heard of. But I'm sure her IG friends have heard of. I mean, so it's kind of like a signaling thing. Like, you either know what I'm talking about or you don't. And, I think she doesn't think that she's a big snob. I think she thinks that she is not a big snob. And like in a lot of ways, she's not. I guess. I mean, I think she has a person of generally of kindness. And, yeah, I don't see her as quite a social climber, exactly. I don't know quite how to pin her, but I guess there's secret ego and secret pleasure at being like the popular girl, but like the alternative popular girl, like the Winona Ryder. I don't know, like 1990 Winona Ryder. I don't know what I'm talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. You know. God, I'm gonna run out of time soon. But like, oh, I'm just a down to earth person. I've worked with developmentally disabled people. I just happen to like, be an artist and work on my music, and I happen to be critically acclaimed around the world, and I just do my thing, and it's pretty cool. Like people, like they're interested in me. But there's name dropping. She acts like there's not name dropping, but there is name dropping, and that's always a sign that someone's a little too into their status or trying to bump up their status, right? I mean, yeah. Okay, 14:45. I'm in danger. I'm gonna go to bed.